Welcome to Global Gilroy. My name's Nick Gilroy. I'm standing on top of a disused lighthouse in the village of Gamboa in Panama with a bird's eye view of the Panama Canal. I'm just watching a couple of vessels head up the canal. They're about midpoint, passing through the village of Gamboa, originating from the Miraflores entrance or locks in Panama City, and they will both exit the canal in the city of Colon, which is approximately 50 kilometers from here, and progress into the Caribbean Sea and onwards into the Atlantic. It's maybe half a day for them to get out to the locks there, and undoubtedly there'll be a queue to get through, because the booking process for boats to pass through the Panama Canal is extensive, and months in advance, I believe, bookings have to be made. Incidentally, this lighthouse, although structurally safe, is disused, but it's full of bats and the occasional snake. The snake to avoid in this region, in Central America, is the fer de lance. If bitten by one of those little nasties, you need medical attention really within 1 hour, and it can kill you within half a day. So my priority is to descend this lighthouse safely and don't stand on any snakes. I remember them well from my Belize days, and they are to be avoided at all costs. A very dangerous fer de lance. Okay, it's getting into full frame now. More interesting things to talk about than the reptilia of this region is the Panama Canal, which is quite something when you consider it slices the country in two and provides a huge shortcut for vessels. Rather than having to go down to the tip of South America, they can just go through here, and it must save the shipping company millions and millions of dollars every year. But I'm reliably informed for the average size vessel to pass through, it costs the shipping company in the region of $600,000 to $800,000. So there you go. Get the economics on the spreadsheet, and I guess it's profitable in the end. In a moment I'm going to change windows because I'm not risking going out onto the balcony of this lighthouse. The railings are only up to my waist. Although it's a calm day, I'm staying put in the middle. So we'll have to go to the other window in a moment, which is just through here, and that's looking north. I stayed in a delightful Panama-style B&B in Gamboa for 2 nights and was in the jungle yesterday, but keeping to the paths. There are recognized paths. It's a big area for bird spotters, believe it or not. I'm not particularly a twitcher, but I saw lots of wildlife, including monkeys, strange long-tailed things, and I did actually see 3 snakes, one of which I'm told later was a fer de lance. Okay, going back out to the boat, and there's a train going, which is quite fortuitous. I thought the rumbling was from the boat, but it's from a train, so I'll just pan across to the other window, and there he goes. The Panama Canal Railway is a once-a-day service for tourists, which I took the other day, and obviously for cargo as well, which I didn't realize. So there you go. It's not one of the world's greatest railway journeys. It's 1 hour from Panama City to Colon in the north. I suppose a little tick for a railway enthusiast. I didn't know the Panama Canal Railway existed until I came here. Maersk seems to get everywhere. Good morning, Mr. Bird. So how are we doing? Let's go slowly and pan slowly around the graffiti into my number 1 window, where the second vessel is approaching. He's a bit larger than the first one, and the first one I saw this morning was the container vessel, which was absolutely huge. Lots of noise from the railway, screeching of brakes. It seemed to be attracting an awful lot of flies. As long as they keep themselves to themselves, I'm completely covered with insecti spray thingy. He'll take another 10 minutes to get to me, I think, thereabouts. So I'll slowly pan round again to my number 2 window, and I should see the bulk carrier. There he goes. Songa Maru. I wonder where he's from. A boat carrier of some sorts, escorted by a tug. Very organised, I noticed, at the Miraflores and Colon locks. Huge teams, very modern lock systems, which were renewed and additions added recently. The original canal is 100 years old now. That's a long beast. I wonder what's in there, cement or something? I'm not sure. Train is still very noisy, just clearing to the north. I'm about 5 minutes from the village centre of Gamboa. It's quite surreal. Gamboa, of course, was a hive of activity when the canal was being built, and a lot of the buildings are now derelict and empty in the village. There's no amenities here apart from a resort hotel, which is extortionate, and a couple of B&Bs, and that's it really. So you come here to birdwatch rather than nightlife. Smart yellow funnel. He's progressing north nice and gently, very slow pace. I'm not sure how fast, maybe 10 knots max here. There's obviously a restriction in the canal. I wonder how deep the canal is. Nobody's told me. Okay, so he's about to go out to camera shot. There's quite a little bit of activity with tourist boats here and there, but they keep to the sides of the canal. And the main channel is marked by the big red and green buoys, which are seen here and there. Going back to number one window. See how this one's progressing. Here it comes. This has got containers and quite a high bridge. I think I'll leave it there. I've got to descend this darn lighthouse, go back to B&B and catch a local bus for $1 back into Panama City. Who needs a taxi, eh, when you can use local transport? A little bit of Spanish helps. So this is Global Gilroy reporting from a disused lighthouse in Gamboa on the banks of the Panama Canal in Panama, Central America.